Hey YouTube, this is Nina. As I told you before, I'm going to start reading from the Septuagint, the Old Testament from the beginning, and hopefully we'll get through this together. I now have a better understanding of my purpose and who I am, so I'm hoping this time around that I can get a better understanding. Now this is the version that I'm reading from. Is the Sir Lancelot Charles Lee Brenton, the Septuagint version of the Old Testament English translation. I'm going to go ahead and get started. This is the um, book of Genesis. In the beginning, God made the heaven and the earth, but the earth was unsightly and unfurnished, and darkness was over the deep. And the Spirit of God moved over the water, and God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw the light that it was good, and God divided between the light and the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning the first day. And the Creator said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the water, and let it be a division between water and water." And it was so. And God made the firmament, and God divided between the water which was under the firmament, and the water which was above the firmament. And the Creator called the firmament heaven. And God saw that it was good, and there was evening, and there was morning, the second day. And the Creator said, "Let the water which is under the heaven be collected into one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. And the water which was under the heaven was collected into its places, and the dry land appeared. And the Creator called the dry land earth, and the gatherings of the waters he called seas. And the Creator saw that it was good. And the Creator said, "Let the earth bring forth the herb of grass, bearing seed according to its kind, and according to its likeness, and the fruit tree bearing fruit, whose seed is in it according to its kind on the earth." And it was so. And the earth brought forth the herb of grass, bearing seed according to its kind, and according to its likeness, and the fruit tree bearing fruit, whose seed is in it, according to its kind on the earth. And the Creator saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the third day. And the Creator said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, to divide between day and night, and let them be for signs and for seasons, and for days and for years, and let them be for light in the firmament of the heaven, so as to shine upon the earth." And it was so. And the Creator made the two great lights, the greater light for regulating the day, and the lesser light for regulating the night, the stars also. And God placed them in the firmament of the heaven, so as to shine upon the earth, and to regulate day and night, and to divide between the light and the darkness. And the Creator saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the fourth day. And the Creator said, "Let the waters bring forth reptiles having life, and winged creatures flying above the earth in the firmament of heaven." And it was so. And the Creator made great whales, and every living reptile, which the waters brought forth according to their kinds, and every creature that flies with wings according to its kind. And God saw that they were good. And the Creator blessed them, saying, "Increase and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let the creatures that fly be multiplied on the earth." And there was evening, and there was morning on the fifth day. And the Creator said, "Let the earth bring forth the living creature according to its kind, quadrupeds and reptiles, and wild beasts of the earth according to their kind." And it was so. And the Creator made the wild beasts of the earth according to their kind, and cattle according to their kind, and all the reptiles of the earth according to their kind. And the Creator saw that they were good. And the Creator said, let us make man according to our image and likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the flying creatures of heaven, and over the cattle and all the earth, and over all the reptiles that creep on the earth. And the Creator made man according to the image of God, according to the image of the Creator. He made him male and female, he made them. And the Creator blessed them, saying, increase and multiply, and fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the seas and flying creatures of heaven, and all the cattle and all the earth, and all the reptiles that creep on the earth. And the Creator said, behold, I have given to you every seed-bearing herb, sowing seed which is upon all the earth, and every tree which has in itself the fruit of seed that is sown. To you it shall be for food, and to all the wild beasts of the earth, and to all the flying creatures of heaven, and to every reptile creeping on the earth, which has in itself the breath of life, even every green plant for food. And it was so. And the Creator saw all the things that he made, and the Creator saw all the things that he had made, and behold, they were very good. And there was evening and there was morning, the sixth day. And the heavens and the earth were finished, and the whole world of them. And the Creator finished on the sixth day his works which he made, and he ceased on the seventh day from all his works which he made. And the Creator blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because in it he ceased from all his works which the Creator began to do. This is the book of the generation of heaven and earth, when they were made, in the day in which the Lord God made the heaven and the earth, and every herb of the field before it was on the earth, and all the grass of the field before it sprang up. For the Creator, had not rained on the earth, and there was not a man to cultivate it. But there rose a fountain out of the earth, and watered the whole face of the earth. And the Creator formed the man of dust of the earth, and breathed upon his face the breath of life, and the man became a living soul. And the Creator planted a garden eastward in Edom, and that's Edem, and placed there the man whom he had formed. And the Creator made to spring up also out of the earth every tree beautiful to the eye and good for food, and the tree of life in the midst of the garden, and the tree of learning the knowledge of good and evil. And a river proceeds out of Edom to water the garden. Thence it divides itself into 4 heads. The name of the one Pison, and that's Phisom. This it is which encircles the whole land of Evilots, where there is gold. And the gold of that land is good. There also is carbuncle and emerald. And the name of the second river is Gihon. This it is which encircles the whole land of Ethiopia. And the third river is Tigris. This is that which flows forth over against the Assyrians. And the fourth river is the Euphrates. And the Lord God, our Creator, took the man whom he had formed, and placed him in the garden of delight to cultivate and keep it. And the Creator gave a charge to Adam, saying, of every tree which is in the garden thou mayest freely eat, but of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, of it ye shall not eat. But in whatsoever day ye eat of it, ye shall surely die. And Hiah said, it is not good that the man should be alone. Let us make for him a help suitable to him. And Hiah formed yet further out of the earth all the wild beasts of the field, and all the birds of the sky, and he brought them to Adam to see what he would call them. And whatever Adam called any living creature, that was the name of it. And Adam gave names to all the cattle, and to all the birds of the sky, and to all the wild beasts of the field. But for Adam there was not found a help like to himself. And Hiah brought a trance upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs, and filled up the flesh instead thereof. And Hiah formed the rib which he took from Adam into a woman, and brought her to Adam. And Adam said, this now is bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of her husband. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they two shall be one flesh. And the two were naked, both Adam and his wife, and were not ashamed. Now the serpent was the most crafty of all the brutes on the earth, which Hiah made. And the serpent said to the woman, wherefore has God said, eat not of every tree of the garden? And the woman said to the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Hiah said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said to the woman, ye shall not surely die. For Hiah knew that in whatever day ye should eat of it, your eyes would be opened, and ye would be as gods, knowing good and evil. And the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes to look upon, and beautiful to contemplate. And having taken of its fruit, she ate, and she gave to her husband also with her, and they ate. And the eyes of both were open, and they perceived that they were naked. And they sewed fig leaves together, and made themselves aprons to go round them. And they heard the voice of the Lord God walking in the garden in the afternoon. And both Adam and his wife hid themselves from the face of Hiah in the midst of the trees of the garden. And Hiah called Adam and said to him, Adam, where art thou? And he said to him, I heard thy voice as thou walkest in the garden, and I feared because I was naked, and I hid myself. And Hiah said to him, who told thee that thou wast naked? Unless thou hast eaten of the tree concerning which I charged thee of it alone not to eat. And Adam said, the woman whom thou givest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I ate. And Hiah said to the woman, why hast thou done this? And the woman said, the serpent deceived me, and I ate. And Hiah said to the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle and all the brutes of the earth. On thy breast and belly thou shalt go, and thou shalt eat earth all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. He shall watch against thy head, and thou shalt watch against his heel. And to the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy pains and thy groanings. In pain thou shalt bring forth children, and thy submission shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. And to Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened to the voice of thy wife, and eaten of the tree concerning which I charged thee of it only not to eat, of that thou hast eaten, cursed is the ground in thy labors. In pain shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. Thorns and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat thy bread, until thou return to the earth, out of which thou wast taken. For earth thou art, and to earth thou shalt return. And Adam called the name of his wife Life, because she was the mother of all living. And Hiah made for Adam and his wife garments of skin, and clothed them. And Hiah said, behold, Adam is become as one of us, to know good and evil. And now, lest at any time he stretch forth his hand, and take of the tree of life, and eat, and so he shall live forever. So Hiah sent him forth out of the garden of delight to cultivate the ground out of which he was taken. And he cast out Adam and caused him to dwell over against the garden of delight, and stationed the cherubs and the fiery sword that turns about to keep the way of the tree of life. And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and brought forth Cain, and said, I have gained a man through Hiah. And she again bore his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And it was so after some time that Cain brought of the fruits of the earth a sacrifice to Hiah. And Abel also brought of the firstborn of his sheep and of his fatlings. And Hiah looked upon Abel and his gifts, but Cain and his sacrifices he regarded not. And Cain was exceedingly sorrowful, and his countenance fell. And Hiah said to Cain, Why art thou become very sorrowful, and why is thy countenance fallen? Hast thou not sinned if thou hadst brought it rightly, but not rightly divided it? Be still, to thee shall be his submission, and thou shalt rule over him. And Cain said to Abel, his brother, Let us go out into the plain. And it came to pass that when they were in the plain, Cain rose up against Abel his brother, and slew him. And Hiah said to Cain, Where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? And Hiah said, What hast thou done? And the voice of thy brother's blood cries to me out of the ground. And now thou art cursed from the earth, which has opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from the land. When thou tillest the earth, then it shall not continue to give its strength to thee. Thou shalt be groaning and trembling on the earth. And Cain said to Hiah, My crime is too great for me to be forgiven. If thou castest me out this day from the face of the earth, and I shall be hidden from thy presence, and I shall be groaning and trembling upon the earth, then it will be that anyone that finds me shall slay me. Sorry, y'all. That was gross. Sorry. I'm outside. My sinuses. And Hiah said to him, Not so. Anyone that slays Cain shall suffer sevenfold vengeance. And Hiah set a mark upon Cain, that no one that found him might slay him. So Cain went forth from the presence of Hiah and dwelt in the land of Nod over against Edom. And Cain knew his wife, and having conceived, she bore Enoch. And he built a city, and he named the city after the name of his son, Enoch. And to Enoch was born Gadad, and Gadad begot Malileel, and Malileel begot Methuselah, and Methuselah begot Lamech. And Lamech took to himself two wives. The name of one was Ada, and the name of the second Selah. And Ada bore Jobel. He was the father of those that dwell in tents, feeding cattle. And the name of his brother was Jabal. He it was who invented the psaltery and harp. And Selah also bore Thobal. He was a smith, a manufacturer both of brass and iron. And the sister of Thobal was Noemah. And Lamech said to his wives, Ada and Selah, Hear my voice, ye wives of Lamech. Consider my words, because I have slain a man to my sorrow, and a youth to my grief, because vengeance has been enacted 7 times on Cain's behalf. On Lamech's it shall be 70 times 7. And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bore a son, and called his name Seth, saying, For Hiah has raised up to me another seed instead of Abel, whom Cain slew. And Seth had a son, and he called his name Enos. He hoped to call on the name of Hiah. This is the genealogy of men in the day in which Hiah made Adam. Hiah made Adam. In the image of Hiah he made him. Male and female he made them, and blessed them, and he called his name Adam in the day in which he made them. And Adam lived 230 years, and begot a son after his own form and after his own image, and he called his name Seth. And the days of Adam, which he lived after his begetting Seth, were 700 years, and he begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Adam which he lived were 930 years, and he died. Now Seth lived 205 years, and begot Enos. And Seth lived after his begetting Enos 707 years, and he begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Seth were 912 years, and he died. And Enos lived 190 years, and begot Canaan. And Enos lived after his begetting Canaan 715 years, and he begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Enos were 905 years, and he died. And Canaan lived 170 years, and he begot Melil. And Canaan lived after his begetting Melil 740 years, and he begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Canaan were 910 days, and he died. And Melil lived 165 years, and he begot Jared. And Melil lived after his begetting Jared 730 years, and he begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Melil were 895 years, and he died. And Jared lived 162 years, and begot Enoch. And Jared lived after his begetting Enoch 800 years, and he begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Jared were 962 years, and he died. And Enoch lived 165 years, and begot Methuselah. And Enoch was well pleasing to Hiah after his begetting Methuselah 200 years, and he begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Enoch were 365 years. And Enoch was well pleasing to God and was not found, because was well pleasing to Hiah and was not found, because Hiah translated him. And Methuselah lived 167 years, and begot Lamech. And Methuselah lived after his begetting Lamech 802 years, and begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Methuselah which he lived were 969 years, and he died. And Lamech lived 188 years, and begot a son. And he called his name Noah, saying, This one will cause us to cease from our works, and from the toils of our hands, and from the earth which Hiah has cursed. And Lamech lived after his begetting Noah 565 years, and begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Lamech were 753 years, and he died. And Noah was 500 years old, and he begot 3 sons, Sem, Cham, and Japheth. And it came to pass, when men began to be numerous upon the earth, the daughters were born to them, that the sons of God, having seen the daughters of men, that they were beautiful, took to themselves wives of all whom they chose. And Hiah said, My spirit shall certainly not remain among these men forever, because they are flesh, but their days shall be 120 years. Now the giants were upon the earth in those days. And after that, when the sons of Hiah were wont to go into the daughters of men, they bore children to them. Those were the giants of old, the men of renown. And Hiah, having seen that the wicked actions of men were multiplied upon the earth, and that everyone in his heart was intently brooding over evil continually. Then Hiah laid it to heart that he had made man upon the earth, and he pondered it deeply. And Hiah said, I will blot out man whom I have made from the face of the earth, even man with cattle and reptiles, with flying creatures of the sky, for I am grieved that I have made them. But Noah found grace before Hiah, and these are the generations of Noah. Noah was just a man, being perfect in his generation. Noah was well pleasing to Hiah. And Noah begot 3 sons, Sem, Cham, and Japheth. But the earth was corrupted before Hiah, and the earth was filled with iniquity. And Hiah saw the earth, and it was corrupted, because all flesh had corrupted its way upon the earth. And Hiah said to Noah, a period of all men is come before me, because the earth has been filled with iniquity by them, and behold, I destroy them and the earth. Make therefore for thyself an ark of square timber. Thou shalt make the ark in compartments, and thou shalt pitch it within and without the pitch. And thus shalt thou make the ark 300 cubits, the length of the ark, and 50 cubits the breadth, and 30 cubits the height of it. Thou shalt narrow the ark in making it, and in cubit above thou shalt finish it. And the door of the ark thou shalt make on the side with lower, second, and third stories thou shalt make it. And behold, I bring a flood of water upon the earth to destroy all flesh, in which is the breath of life under heaven, and whatsoever things are upon the earth shall die. And I will establish my covenant with thee, and thou shalt enter into the ark, and thy sons and thy wife and thy sons' wives with thee. And of all cattle, and of all reptiles, and of all wild beasts, even of all flesh, thou shalt bring by pairs of all into the ark, that thou mayest feed them with thyself, male and female they shall be, of all winged birds after their kind, and of all cattle after their kind, and of all reptiles creeping upon the earth after their kind, pairs of all shall come in to thee, male and female, to be fed with thee. And thou shalt take to thyself of all kinds of food which ye eat, and thou shalt gather them to thyself, and it shall be for thee and them to eat. And Noah did all things whatever Hiah commanded him, so did he. And Hiah said to Noah, enter thou and all thy family into the ark, for thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation. And of the clean cattle take in to thee 7, male and female, and of the unclean cattle, pairs, male and female, and of clean flying creatures of the sky, 7, male and female, and of the unclean flying creatures, pairs, male and female, to maintain seed on all the earth. For yet 7 days having passed, I bring rain upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and I will blot out every offspring which I have made from the face of all the earth. And Noah did all things whatever Hiah commanded him. And Noah was 600 years old when the flood of water was upon the earth. And then went in Noah and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives with him into the ark, because of the water of the flood, and of clean flying creatures and unclean flying creatures, and clean cattle and of unclean cattle, and of all things that creep upon the earth. Pairs went into Noah into the ark, male and female, as God commanded Noah. And it came to pass after the 7 days that the water of the flood came upon the earth, in the 600th year of the life of Noah, in the second month, on the 27th day of the month. On this day, all the fountains of the abyss were broken up, and the floodgates of heaven were opened, and the rain was upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. On that very day entered Noah, Sem, Shem, Japheth, the sons of Noah, and the wife of Noah, and the three wives of his sons with him into the ark, and all the wild beasts after their kind, and all cattle after their kind, and every reptile moving itself on the earth after its kind, and every flying bird after its kind, went into Noah into the ark, pairs, male and female of all flesh, in which it is the breath of life. And they that entered went in, male and female of all flesh, as Hiah commanded Noah, and Hiah shut the ark outside of him. And the flood was upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and the water abounded greatly and bore up the ark, and it was lifted on high from off the earth. And the water prevailed and abounded exceedingly upon the earth, and the ark was borne upon the water. And the water prevailed exceedingly upon the earth, and covered all the high mountains which were under heaven. 15 cubits upwards was the water raised, and it covered all the mountains. And there died all flesh that moved upon the earth, of flying creatures and cattle, and of wild beasts, and every reptile moving upon the earth, and every man, and all things which have the breath of life, and whatsoever was on the dry land died. And Hiah blotted out every offspring which was upon the face of the earth, both man and beast, and reptiles and birds of the sky, and they were blotted out from the earth, and Noah was left alone, and those with him in the ark. And the water was raised over the earth 150 days. And Hiah remembered Noah, and all the wild beasts, and all the cattle, and all the birds, and all the reptiles that creep, as many as were with him in the ark. And Hiah brought up a wind upon the earth, and the water stayed, and the fountains of the deep were closed up, and the floodgates of heaven and the rain from heaven was withheld, and the water subsided and went off the earth. And after 150 days the water was diminished, and the ark rested in the 7th month, on this 27th day of the month, on the mountains of Ararat. And the water continued to decrease until the 10th month. And in the 10th month, on the first day of the month, the heads of the mountains were seen. And it came to pass after 40 days, Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made, and he sent forth a raven, and it went forth, and returned not until the water was dried from off the earth. And he sent a dove after it to see if the water had ceased from off the earth. And the dove, not having found rest for her feet, returned to him in the ark, because the water was on the face of the earth. And he stretched out his hand and took her, and brought her to himself into the ark. And having waited yet 7 other days, he again sent forth the dove from the ark. And the dove returned to him in the evening, and had a leaf of olive, a sprig in her mouth. And Noah knew that the water had ceased from off the earth. And having waited yet 7 other days, be again sent forth the dove, and she did not return to him again any more. And it came to pass in the 601st year of the life of Noah, in the 1st month, on the 1st day of the month, the water subsided from off the earth. And Noah opened the covering of the ark which he had made, and he saw that the water had subsided from the face of the earth. And in the 2nd month, the earth was dried on the 27th day of the month. And the Lord God and Hiah spoke to Noah, saying, Come out from the ark, thou and thy wife, and thy sons' wives with thee, and all the wild beasts, as many as are with thee, and all flesh, both of birds and beasts, and every reptile moving upon the earth, bring forth with thee, and increase ye and multiply upon the earth. And Noah came forth, and his wife and his sons' wives were with him, and all the wild beasts, and all the cattle, and every bird, and every reptile creeping upon the earth after their kind, came forth out of the ark. And Noah built an altar to Hiah, and took of all clean beasts, and of all clean birds, and offered a whole burnt offering upon the altar. And Hiah smelled a smell of sweetness. And Hiah, having considered, said, I will not any more curse the earth because of the works of men, because the imagination of man is intently bent upon evil things from his youth. I will not therefore any more smite all living flesh, as I have done. All the days of the earth, seed and harvest, cold and heat, summer and spring, shall not cease by day or night. And Hiah blessed Noah and his sons, and said to them, increase and multiply, and fill the earth, and have dominion over it. And the dread and the fear of you shall be upon all the wild beasts of the earth, on all the birds of the sky, and on all things moving upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea. I have placed them under your power. And every reptile which is living shall be to you for meat. And I have given all things to you as the green herbs, but flesh with blood of fife you shall not eat. For your blood of your lives will I require at the hand of all wild beasts, and I will require the life of man at the hand of his brother man. He that sheds man's blood, instead of that blood shall his own be shed. For in the image of Hiah I made man. But do ye increase and multiply, and fill the earth, and have dominion over it. And Hiah spoke to Noah and to his sons with him, saying, and behold, I establish my covenant with you, and with your seed after you, and with every living creature with you, of birds and of beasts, and with all the wild beasts of the earth, as many as are with you, of all that come out of the ark. And I will establish my covenant with you, and all flesh shall not any more die by the water of the flood, and there shall no more be a flood of water to destroy all of the earth. And the Lord and Hiah said to Noah, this is a sign of the covenant which I set between me and you, and between every living creature which is with you for perpetual generations. That word perpetual, we know that means forever. I set my bow in the clouds, and it shall be for a sign of covenant between me and the earth. And it shall be when I gather clouds up upon the earth, that my bow shall be seen in the cloud. And I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you, and between every living soul in all flesh. And there shall no longer be water for a deluge, so as to blot out all flesh. And my bow shall be in the cloud, and I will look to remember the everlasting covenant between me and the earth, and between every living soul in all flesh, which is upon the earth. And Hiah said to Noah, this is the sign of the covenant which I have made between me and all flesh, which is upon the earth. Now the sons of Noah which came out of the ark were Sem, Shem, and Japheth. And Shem was father of Canaan, and these three are the sons of Noah. Of these were men scattered all over the earth, and Noah began to be a husbandman, and he planted a vineyard, and he drank of the wine, and was drunk, and was naked in his house. And Shem, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and he went out and told his two brothers without. And Sem and Japheth have taken a garment, put it on both their backs, and went backwards and covered the nakedness of their father, and their face was backwards, and they saw not the nakedness of their father. And Noah recovered from the wine, and knew all that his younger son had done to him, and he said, Cursed be the servant Canaan, a slave shall he be to his brethren. And he said, Blessed be the Lord, blessed be Higher of Sem, and Canaan shall be his bondservant. May God make room for Japheth, and let him dwell in the habitations of Sem, and let Canaan be his servant. And Noah lived after the flood 350 years, and all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Sem, Shem, Japheth, and the sons were born to them after the flood. The sons of Japheth, Gamer, and Magog, and Mador, and Jovan, and Elissa, and Thobal, and Masash, and Thyras. And the sons of Gamer, Ashkenaz, and Riphath, and Thorgama. And the sons of Jovan, Elissa, and Tharsis, Sicians, Rhodians. From these were the islands of the Gentiles divided in their land, each according to his tongue, in the tribes and in their nations. And the sons of Shem, Shush, and Mizraim, Phud, and Canaan. And the sons of Chus, Saba, and Ivla, and Sabatha, and Regma, and Sabathaka. And the sons of Rekma, Saba, and Dadan, and Chus begot Nebrod. He began to be a giant upon the earth. He was a giant hunter before Hiah. Therefore they say, as Nimrod, the giant hunter before Hiah. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babylon, and Orek, and Archad, and Shalan in the land of Sennar. Out of that land came Ashur, and built Nineveh, and the city of Roboth, and Shalak, and Dace between Nineveh and Shalak. This is the great city. And Mesraim begot Ludium, and the Nephthalim, and the Enimitim, and the Labim, and Patrosonium, and Chasomonim, whence came forth Philistim. And the Gaphthorim and Canaan begot Sidon, his firstborn, and the Shittites, and the Jebusites, and the Amorite, and the Girgashites, and the Evite, and Arukite, and the Asenite, and the Aradian, and the Sumerian, and the Amathites. And after the tribes of Canaanites were dispersed. And the boundaries of Shanites were from Sodom till one comes to Gerarah, and Gaza till one comes to Sodom and Gomorrah, Adamah, and Seboim, as far as Dasa. These were the sons of Shem in their tribes, according to their tongues, in their countries, and in their nations. And to Sem himself also were born children, the father of all the sons of Heber. Hold on, y'all. Trying to see how far. I think I'm going to have to stop there. Okay, so, and to Sem himself also were children born, the father of all the sons of Heber. So I'm going to add a bookmark. right there, and I will continue tomorrow.